I've started painting fairly late in my career, having given it up, and I studied visual culture, so critical art theory and art history, rather than have the guts ready to make my own paintings. My paintings are not narrative. They don't tend to have a story. They are mostly abstract. I think learning to play again is really important for me. Play with the paints, play with the ink, and not worry about making a mess or not worrying about making a final piece. I ought to let that dry a bit now. Working as a yoga teacher, I'm always thinking about movement. I'm always looking at how people move, how animals move, how I move. And I guess I carry that through into painting. I move in a way that makes it easy for me to paint. I think the movement informs the painting. I think it looks more dynamic than if I was sitting in a chair painting. For these pieces, they're inspired by photographs that I've taken of pavement in Puglia, in Italy. A couple of weeks ago I was over there teaching yoga, and I took lots of photographs, and I so loved the place that I felt like I was worshipping the ground I was walking on, and so took lots of photographs of the ground. So these are partly inspired by those pictures, composition-wise, and then I'm trying to get more a sense of kind of the warmth and the calmness that I experience being in a place like that. All of my paintings tend to have something to do with calmness about them, even if they're made in quite a frantic way. I want that something that's reasonably still is what I'm kind of craving, I suppose, in my work and in my life. And I think that stillness doesn't necessarily mean being static. I think what it means to me is kind of like an inner stillness, that I feel steady, and I try and get that in my work. This has still got a long way to go. I don't do much taking off, actually. I just pile more on. I don't do a lot of scraping back. I don't paint in oils all the time, as Jenny does. I'm working a lot with acrylics at the moment. They don't lend themselves to coming off in the same way. I always work with many canvases at the same time, so I've usually got 5 or 6 pieces on the go, so I can put one down and let it start to dry a little bit while I then work on another one. With these two at the moment, I just need to stand back or sit back and look at them, and with a critical eye, I think, what's working, what's not working, and try not to be too precious about them. Try and allow the paintings to speak to me, really, to get a sense of what comes next. So I'm debating whether to draw across this painting at the moment, whether I should draw some kind of freehand shape coming through the middle, whether a line comes across it, something coming in from the side. I'm not sure what I'm doing with it yet. I know I'm doing something, and rather than make the mark and risk it being wrong and having to take it out, I'm trying things out with masking tape first. I'm not sure yet what's happening with that. Something else will be brought forward. It feels very much like it's a lot of background at the moment, and I'm going to work on that within the next day or two. Not quite sure why I'm drawn so much to pink. Don't consider myself being a pink person really, but I think there's a softness in pink, a kind of a gentleness that attracts me, and the pink paint keeps coming out. My work seems to be in two parts really. The things that are completely abstract and people can read into it, you know, whatever they like. There's not an obvious picture shape there. And then other pieces where I have used shapes that it's clear. These kind of ones where you have lots of pans and teapots and cups, and I have a series of beach huts, but they tend to be squares and circles. Partly I'm sure it's the fact that I repeat squares and circles so much with my calligraphy brush, to just as a practice, really, a repetition practice. I did some courses in Zen calligraphy where we painted, brushed the same shapes over and over again. We also did some Zen phrases, but I've just stayed with the simple shapes, squares, lines, circles. And it informs my paintings, certainly my paintings where I use these shapes more. When I do this on some nice paper, rather than the practice paper, just the simplicity of the black on the white really resonates. You get this lovely, almost like shine that comes from the white, from the empty space, which I really like. I spent a large part of my childhood painting and drawing, and when I wasn't doing those things I was standing on my head and doing gymnastics, and it seems that that's what I've now started to do with my life, is stand on my head and teach yoga and paint. What I thought would be just a little dipping my toe in has become, you know, a massive part of my life really, and I'm enjoying the journey of that.